नमस्कार। मंच पर हमारे साथ सम्मानित पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग के लीडरशिप के लोग और आप सब लोग जो सर्दी के इस मौसम में अपने घरों से जल्दी पीएसयू ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कॉन्क्लेव के लिए आज हमारे साथ हैं। मैं अपनी बात की शुरुआत एक चाणक्य के 2 लाइनों से करना चाहता हूँ। सुना तो आप सब लोगों ने होगा, बट आज उसका अर्थ किस पर्सपेक्टिव में हम चर्चा के विषय में लाने वाले हैं, शायद इससे जिस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के एज से भारत गुजर रहा है, आप सब ज़्यादा कोरिलेट कर पाएँ। कहते हैं सुखस्य मूलम धर्मम, सुख का मूल केंद्र धर्म है एंड धर्मस्य मूलम अर्थ, और धर्म का मूल अर्थ है। अर्थस्य मूलम राज्यम, अर्थ से राज्य की परिकल्पना पूरी होती है, प्रोटेक्ट करना पड़ता है अगर आप अच्छी इकोनॉमी बना रहे हैं तो। और राज्य का मूल इंद्रियों के ऊपर विजय है। सुखस्य मूलम धर्मम, धर्मस्य मूलम अर्थम, अर्थस्य मूलम राज्यम, राजस्य मूलम इंद्रिय जय। दिस इज अ रेफरेंस ऑफ कौटिल्य in Arthashastra, which is very aptly defined on the way the which India is growing today. The ultimate goal of Viksit Bharat, or to have or to become a big, powerful nation, is defined here. Last week I was in Mauritius and I met somebody who's told me that we do not have a navy. I said, how do you operate? How do you protect your people? You don't have a navy. They said, Indian Navy protects us. You understand the intent of a powerful nation which protects. Mauritius is very far from India, but never had a wrong intent. There was a disability and discivilization in next to our country, next to our border at Bangladesh, but we never have a wrong intent, never had a wrong intent. So जमीन कब्जाने की, कॉलोनाइज करने की जो इंटेंट है, किसी के ऊपर हमला करने की जो इंटेंट है, ये भारतीय मूल में कभी नहीं था, बिकॉज ऑफ द फाइनल लाइन विच चाणक्य सेड दैट इंद्रियों के ऊपर आप विजय नहीं प्राप्त कर पाएंगे, तो फिर राज्य के होने का कोई सिद्धांत नहीं है। और राज्य नहीं हो पाएगा जब तक आपके पास अर्थ नहीं है, और अर्थ तब तक नहीं हो पाएगा जब तक आपके पास धर्म नहीं है, और धर्म तब तक नहीं होगा जब तक आपके पास मूल कल्चर नहीं है। टुडे इन दिस पर्सपेक्ट, जहाँ जितने भी बड़े वेल्थ क्रिएटर्स हैं भारत के, उनको एक डेवल पावर की तरह देखा जाता है। और ये मैं पीएसयू ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कॉन्क्लेव में इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि पिछले 2 सालों में कितने अटेम्प्ट्स हुए होंगे, न सिर्फ अडानी अंबानी और बाकी के इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट के ऊपर, इनके साथ साथ कभी सेबी, कभी सेकी, कुछ एक आध 2 पीएसयू के नाम भी जुड़ जाते हैं। Who are the people who are not happy with the wealth creator are usually the people from the socialist and the left mentality who gives you a wrong idea of a विकसित राष्ट्र जहां वेल्थ क्रिएशन नहीं होना चाहिए। 12,000 सालों के इतिहास में आप एक तरफ शुभ लिखते हैं और दूसरी तरफ क्या लिखते हैं? लाभ। What is the meaning of शुभ लाभ? Do good and be prosper, make profit. If there is a religion or if there is a wisdom in any of the country, from the कारोबार, उत्पादन, मनुष्य और व्यापार, then this is India, which says become a wealth creator but in an ethical way, not into an unethical way. The growth that we are expecting and the growth that we are planning and the growth on which we all of us are working is quite on the similar line, which is making a lot of people uncomfortable. And these uncomfortable countries, nations, companies, NGOs, consulting agencies are not only targeting the wealth creators of our nation, but also targeting PSUs of our nations. And tomorrow, when you transform to a better PSU, to a stronger PSU, you tend to develop more and more such negativities. And why these people are very, very, difficult for them to digest this fact that India is growing on such a wonderful speed, such a wonderful space. एक ऐसा देश जिसकी 3.8 ट्रिलियन डॉलर की अभी इकोनॉमी है, वो 2047 तक 38 ट्रिलियन डॉलर की इकोनॉमी बनाने की न सिर्फ बात कर रहा है, बल्कि उसके मिशन मोड में भी है। ये इकोनॉमी, मेन स्ट्रीम इकोनॉमी की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, 2070 तक, इफ यू लुक एट द डीकार्बोनाइजेशन प्लान ऑफ इंडिया, it is alone $10 trillion ग्रीन इकोनॉमी, क्लाइमेट इकोनॉमी। और वहां भी न सिर्फ बात हो रही है, बल्कि मिशन मोड में भी है। सो व्हेन आई से इट्स नॉट ओनली अ कैंपेन दैट यू हैव हर्ड इन 2024 इलेक्शंस, बिकॉज इट इज नॉट एन इलेक्शन कैंपेन। इलेक्शन कैंपेन में दो ही बातें होती हैं। पिछले 5 सालों में हमने किया क्या है, जो भी गवर्नमेंट है, जिस भी समय की है, जिस भी काल की और ईयर की, टेन्योर की, वो ये दो बातें ही इलेक्शन कैंपेन में करती है कि पिछले 5 सालों में आपने किया क्या और अगले 5 सालों में आप करेंगे क्या। ना वो व्यक्ति होगा, ना वो सरकार होगी कॉन्टिन्यूअसली पावर में, और ना हो सकता है वो मैनिफेस्टो हो 2047 तक, 2070 तक। सो गवर्नमेंट की लीडरशिप को अगर सिर्फ इलेक्शन का कैंपेन करना होता तो कहाँ तक होता, 2029 तक होता, 27-28 तक होता, अगले 5 साल तक का विजन होता। बट दिस विजन विच आवर प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैज गिवन टू अस इज दैट इन लास्ट 25 years of your anniversary, before you become a 100-year-old country, you have to attempt couple of things which you have not attempted in last 75 years. And he has not just given the vision, but he has also stepped 2 years. आप 2022 से 2047 तक के 25 सालों को देखिए, वो आपके आखिरी 25 साल हैं आपकी स्वतंत्रता के 100 साल पूरे होने से पहले, और आज आप 2024 में। सो 22, 23, 24 में उन्होंने सिर्फ विजन नहीं दिया, उसके ऊपर 2 साल चलकर भी दिखाया। आज COP29 की चारों तरफ देश में चर्चा हो रही है, सस्टेनेबिलिटी को लेकर, फाइनेंस को लेकर, क्लाइमेट फाइनेंसिंग को लेकर, एमिशन को लेकर। क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन थी डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज की, क्या कमिटमेंट था, और क्या ट्रांसलेट हो पाया। COP26, 27, 28 एंड नाउ इन नवंबर COP29 एट बाकू, अजरबैजान। India has taken its path where we are no more dependent on what you will give us or you will not give us. एक साल पहले ही मुझे, अगर if I'm not quoting wrong, then finance minister clearly said that $100 billion never came to us, which was committed as per the COP transaction as a low emission country. Environment minister said, our very prominent technocrat, Mr. Amitabh Kant said that it is just a place of meeting. People are not, delivering the way it was expected. So the climate financing side or production side, or to any extent where the digitization is mattering or any of the economic transformation matters, we do not only have a competition, or I will say a kind of opposition to our private sector, but now this has also started growing in our PSUs. 65 years is the time that India took to create $1 trillion economy. Now I am giving you the reason why there are a lot of discomfort on the global front. 65 years for 1 trillion, 8 years for 2 trillion, and 5 years for 3 trillion, and 3 years almost for 4 trillion. The capability which you are developing today is to add 1 trillion in your economy every year, Not now, but by end of this tenure of third tenure of the running government, where the definition of growth is very, very clearly defined that we will become third largest economy. Right now, we are fifth largest economy. आपने यूके, ब्राज़ील, रशिया, फ्रांस को कब पीछे किया, याद भी नहीं होगा. Now we are only left behind by 3 countries, I can say: US, China, Japan, and Germany. Germany I'm not counting, is because Germany is on the neck. Any day you can read in the newspaper that we are bigger as an economy than Germany. So US, China, and Japan. If we replace any 3 of them, we become the third largest economy in this second 2024 to 29 tenure of the government. This speaks volume about the growth that we are pacing up. एक नहीं, मैं आपको 4 ऐसे राज्य बता सकता हूं जो अकेले $1 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी बनाने के लिए ताल ठोक रहे हैं. इन्वेस्टमेंट समिट्स, इन्वेस्टमेंट्स MOU, उनके ट्रांसलेशंस, उनके रियलिस्टिक कन्वर्जन्स, इन सब का डेटा पब्लिक डोमेन में अवेलेबल है. उत्तर प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, गुजरात, तमिलनाडु, all 4 of them, they are in a competitive neck-to-neck competition mode to build $1 trillion economy alone as in a state. And this discomfort, which is with that 2.5% growth, so now we are at 6.7% or 6.4% something, 8% is the desired growth to reach to $35 trillion economy. This 2% growth requires more states to come into such competition, at least for $500 billion, and a stable government, a mandate which is concrete and which is stable enough to take large reforms and long time structural reforms. Now, ease of doing business in 2014 to now, if you will conclude by saying what is ease of doing business that we managed to deliver, as I am National Program Director of Ease of Doing Business, I would first give you an idea of what is the ease of doing business that you require or that you would have wished for. जब तक आपकी जीवन में खुद की ease of living नहीं है, तब तक आप कारोबार पर कितना ही ease of doing business expect कर लेंगे. In 2014, when government changes, the first 2 orders that comes in is to make people and bureaucrats look equal. No red lights, no fancy beacons, no special treatment to bureaucracy, and at the same time making people's life easy with passport or driving license or PAN or anything or the everything what you require as a personal document being issued from the government. Aadhaar is one of the good example. Growth is in front of you. Last time when we were doing PSU summit, Sarma sir was here. He given us a very brilliant idea of how Aadhaar turned out to be UPI, DPI and NPI framework and how much more it is going to bring. This first year, this what I told you is from the government side, but in the individual side, if I remember right, आप में से बहुत सारे लोग मेरी जनरेशन के हैं, एक आदमी को सरकारी नौकरी के लिए फॉर्म भरना होता था, तो उसको एक गजेटेड ऑफिसर से जाके अपना सर्टिफिकेट साइन कराना पड़ता था. Am I right? ऐसा होता था? आज होता है? हमारे बच्चों के साथ होता है? नहीं. आप कौन सा सर्टिफिकेट कहाँ लगाएंगे, किस जॉब के लिए, उसका डिजिटल वर्जन देना पड़ता है. उसका डिजिटल वर्जन कॉलेजेस के पास भी अवेलेबल होता है और विद इन अ डे इट कैन बी वैलिडेटेड. And this used to be on the somebody's perspective that he will sign for you and then you have to find out in the village or in the city कि कोई gazetted officer मिल जाए मेरे certificate पे sign करने के लिए. This is not one story. There are series of stories. Parshad, Nigam Parshad, Mukhiya, Panchayat, Sarpanch, they all give you lot of recommendation to tell you that I am there to help you. I am giving you connection recommendation, I am giving you death certificate recommendation, I am giving you this, that. The politics of below district was almost based on these problems which has been artificially created first. And then they are resolving it for you. The intent of our Honorable Prime Minister to automate, completely put it on the automation, जितने ओवर द काउंटर चीज़ें जमा होती थी वो सब ओवर द पोर्टल करने के पीछे यही था कि आपको लोकल लीडरशिप के ऊपर या लोकल पॉलिटिक्स के ऊपर या लोकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स के ऊपर बैंक अपॉन नहीं करना पड़े। आपके पास मेरिट है, जेन्युइनिटी है, आप पोर्टल पे सबमिट कीजिए, आपका अप्रूवल हो जाएगा। मेजॉरिटी ऑफ PSUs, passport and everything is now in automation mode. This has opposition from both sides. Today I am sharing this an internal conversation, might go right, might go not right, I don't care. This has opposition, this was faced opposition within the political parties, within the own parties also and outside the party also. Is because साहब अगर सब कुछ ऑटोमेट कर देंगे तो वार्ड पार्षद के पास लिखवाने कौन आएगा, सरपंच का कोई रोल नहीं रह जाएगा, मुखिया का कोई रोल नहीं रह जाएगा। सो द कन्वर्सेशन इज बियॉन्ड इट दैट सरपंच को और मुखिया को काम करने के लिए और भी रियल काम है, rather than creating something a difficult process and then resolving it. What happened after this? Why a person, despite of feeling resistance from both inside the party and outside the party, took such decision to extend ease of doing business? I am going to tell you that. The reason of doing so is to win the trust of people who always thought government is an entity, उससे जितना दूर रहो उतना अच्छा है। मुझे याद आता है अभी चावड़ी बाजार के बहुत सारे दुकान वाले थे, जब UPI पहली बार आया तो they used to give you a clear statement, some of them they have the board also, यहाँ पे UPI नहीं होता है। हमारा धंधा हमारे पूर्वजों के समय से कैश में चलता आ रहा है और कैश में ही चलेगा, because their दादा, their parents, their grandparents told them कि सरकार को बही खाता कभी मत देना, वो इनकम टैक्स से लेके ED से लेके GST तक सब आपके पीछे लगा देगी, और जितना दूर रहो उतना बढ़िया है। जितना आपका काम कैश में चल रहा है, पर्ची लिख के चल रहा है, खाते लिख के चल रहा है, आप चलाओ। आज आपको एक दुकान नहीं मिलेगी, एक शॉप नहीं मिलेगी, एक ऐसा एंटरप्रेन्योर बहुत मुश्किल से ढूंढने पे मिलेगा, आई थिंक टैक्स एजेंसीज भी ढूंढती रहती हैं, जिसके पास डिजिटाइजेशन नहीं है, जिसके पास बैंक अकाउंट नहीं है, जिसके पास प्रॉपर KYC ऑफ बीइंग इंक्लूसिव इन द टैक्स सिस्टम एंड फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन नहीं है। These people were those who did not trusted government for a long period because of obvious reasons. And now when they started trusting, the economy started growing up, which you could not understand how you left, Brazil and Russia and France and UK, and you become 5th largest economy. But this is just the start. The bigger picture is yet to come, when you are going to give a narrative to the world that how we as a sustainable, stable and a green economy can grow and give you a message that how do you follow us. Today, if I may quote correctly, we are 2nd largest road network, but at the same time, we are the biggest in the road accident. Today, we are 2nd largest in the smartphone production, but at the same time, we are also highest in the fraud that happens on the phone or cyber fraud. 2nd largest bus and truck manufacturers, but at the same time largest in the pollution also. You sitting in Delhi, I don't need to explain this to you. 2nd largest agrochemical, sugar, and 3rd largest in pharma in volume. In value, we are 11th. So the concept of becoming a generation of countries and becoming a generation of development is based on the intelligence that you are gathering today. Why I quoted COP in between is the reason I wish to conclude with, is you are the country which is properly placed, rightly positioned to tell the world that how emission, sustainability and a life with environment can take place. Not the world can come back to you and tell you SDG is this, ESG is this. And the narrative war which has been thrown to you not from today but from 1947 till date is in a way that you have been buying things which were not good for you. Products, food, material, lifestyle, culture, medicine, many of the things which has came. Few दो examples आपको देता हूँ, so you आप pretext समझ पाएंगे. People coming to India and telling you that you have a very poor yield in your agricultural position, they given you fertilizer. Same people, same company, same countries came back to you after few years and told you, what are you eating? These are pesticides. So I'll give you now organic farming, organic certificates. Some companies coming to you and telling you, what are you doing? This is not a good food. You should hold something and grab it and eat it. That's become a fast food. Same company coming to you and telling you now that India's authentic food is the best food. Jwar, bajra, makki, millets are the right things to eat, and they are the best for the health. We will give you those patents and other things. Yoga to Ayurveda, many of the things which were removed from here and patented in many of the countries, and then they are coming back with the solutions. Suddenly you have your daughters becoming Miss World, Miss Universe, and the market for the cosmetics gets open. After some time, everybody says majority of cosmetics has chemicals. Now you remove everything and I am giving you a neutral, minimalistic, and something which is very, very less. And minimalistic, I said it's an Indian brand, it's not a foreign brand. These narratives have taken over our markets, our potential purchasing power, and still has been draining silently the way Britishes used to drain. The time which has came now to look at the position of India and take wise decision that what narrative is being thrown on you and for what purpose it is being thrown on you. Two narratives which I preferably not accept. It might be my personal opinion, not on the behalf of the government or the portfolio which I handle, but ESG is something which is very, very subjective. If you appoint 3 think tank to advise you on ESG of your company, of your manufacturing unit or your office or your building, you will get 3 different opinions. If you appoint 5 companies, 5 think tanks or 5 agencies, they will give 5 different opinions. But if you appoint 3 chartered accountants to calculate your GST or income tax, you will get only 1 opinion. Why is because there is an algorithm, there is a formula, there is a numerics behind calculating GST, which is missing behind calculating ESG parameters. So what it is very important for us, for India to understand that this is just a building narrative on your head, making 5 people sit on your board and tell you what you do, how you do, what procurement you should do, what products you should select, what companies you should select, what brands you should select, what behavior or what process you should select to become an ESG compliant. And when you appoint a chief sustainability officer of large companies, I don't want to name, but large top listed biggest houses of India, their chief sustainability officers to be assembled in programs like COP 29, 28. And what is happening there? It's an exhibition of products and companies which is oriented and based from Europe and America and Australia's of the world to give you a demonstrative catalog that you go back to your companies, pick up this one and put up as a solution. This is a place where PSU have to come and tell that this is the right way of building and possibilities to actually need and meet your climate goals, your environment goals or your sustainability goals. Instead of recycle, you may avoid or you may reuse. So someone who is very happy to sell you a recycle solution, how you retreat, recycle a product or a plastic or a material, might not get a market here. This particular instance, this particular lobby has sold you majority of products. आपका पूरा खाना, आपके बच्चों की obesity, आपकी गाड़ियों का, आपके air quality का health, this all deterioration, this all dumping of materials which were not good for our health, not good for our next generation, was done in such manner, very strong lobby. Now the time has came then that you have all your intelligence in place to decide that everything being thrown on us is in our favor or not. Second is the climate financing. Every organization is going through a transformation, transition to reach to a place where they can define that I am taking all necessary positions and decisions and measures to become sustainable, cleaner and greener. Every organization, there is no exception. At the same time, it also opens the world and the market for people to come and sell their product and their possibilities. Greenwashing is something which is very prominent in majority of countries, in majority of markets and majority of economies and microeconomies. If now in India, somebody, some organization is in position to tell people the difference between greenwashing and actual sustainability, this responsibility lies with the PSUs. Because PSUs have that cushion, that position to build strong pillars of economy, micro and macro both in India, which gives you the right decision and right impact on the climate. Other organizations may have their pressures, may have their possibilities and defined, undefined board directions to go for it or not go for it, but PSUs had that leverage to go with the essence of the country, with the essence of the economy. And economic essence of the nation today says we have to take two decisions. One is the reduction of your oil import and second decarbonization of your energy and transport. Both of them, they are common in each company. If I see and I am seeing PSUs coming on a very big way, becoming a pioneer and flag bearer of these two changes, decarbonization of their transport and also reducing their oil import or reducing their footprint from the carbon. I congratulate organizers of ilouge Media for organizing this in a continued manner every year to give us an opportunity to come and speak, interact with each one of you and share some of the aspirations, some of ambitions which nation may have taken up, may not got time to speak on each of them, but certainly what we are seeing is in the favor of giving a very strong example of a very strong defined greener and cleaner economy to the world with our own climate financing. I would end with last two lines which are going to give you a goosebump that where we have reached in terms of solving the biggest problem of climate is the climate financing. In 2014-15, RBI and the government has decided now exactly after 10 years, we have reached to an indispensable position to decide priority sector lending through RBI, which where majority of them were green, solar, wind and turbines, hydel and other powers. In 2016, 17 and 18, eventually when SEBI and RBI, they joined the green bond and the International Forum for Green, Sovereign Green Bond. And finally in 2021-22, we opened Sovereign Green Bond. It was very well subscribed, taken by people. Money came for dispense and to be given to people and to be given to countries, companies, project level, companies level, product level, who are justifying their tag of being green and climate friendly. Both of these, the fund and the single window clearance, brought together by the climate financing. This is the second year we are going to organize climate financing summit in the month of January, where Reserve Bank of India with those banks will be able to intervene and showcase that what all green financing they have done over a period of 1 year and what all you can pick up from the list for your organization. Second, if there is a transaction between banks for these climate financing, RBI has a possibility, has a provision from the Sovereign Green Fund to enter between your transaction with the bank to reduce the interest rate if you are doing a green funding or you are taking a green funding. And the last but not least is single window clearance. If you are becoming a $10 trillion green economy by 2070, then 2060, 2050, 2040 and 2030, every 10 years you have to build $2 trillion economy, green economy. And if as a government we will not give you a single window clearance for all green economy building projects, modification projects, somewhere where you are removing genset, putting solar, we will not be able to stand with you at all the places where you need our help. So a single window clearance on ease of doing business platform, intervention from RBI to reduce your interest rate and to build an economy which is likely to be brought in a concessioner way of 2% at least of the total 1% to 2% of the green economy is binding together the target that we had. Just for the reference of number, I'll tell you in 2026 to 2030, what is expected to be coming is $253 to $263 billion is from 2026 to 2030. And 2031 to 35, $325 to $355 billion. Right now, our internal investment in the green financing every year is around $45 to $42 billion. 1% of the global circular economy is 4.5 trillion. 1% each year to next 5 years will give you for $45 billion every year. Multiply it with the 5, you will get a number of $225 billion. What I told you in 2026 to 25, we need 253 and you are getting here 255. Majority of what you needed to get on the first bus to build a $2 trillion economy by 2030 is here. What we need to do as a country is $4.5 trillion की circular economy, global circular economy का 1% इंडिया में होना चाहिए. और थर्ड लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी होने के बाद फिफ्थ लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी से थर्ड लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी के रास्ते पे अगर आप 1% $45 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी का इंडिया में ग्रो नहीं कर सकते हैं, लैंड नहीं करा सकते हैं, then what is the point of being fifth largest economy? So we all need to come together to get on the bus of $32 trillion economy, and trust me that if you are building a $2 trillion green economy by 2030, there is no power in the world can shake you for next 50 years to become the most powerful nation, not in terms of attacking others, but in terms of bringing happiness and prosperity to each of them. That is why it's called India is the home to the world. Thank you. Jai Hind.